Welcome back to the Explainer. So, you probably think you're browsing anonymously, right? Well, it turns out Windows actually has this massive web of hidden digital name tags tracking basically your every move. Today, we're diving deep into the source material to look exactly at how Windows identifies you. We'll cover the methods, the specific registry keys, and of course, how you can actually fight back.
Here's the roadmap for this explainer. First, the hidden identifiers. Then we'll unpack the master list of registry keys. Look at the unstoppable GDID tracker, break down hardware and network leaks, and finish up with mitigations and the hard truth about privacy.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the hidden identifiers. So, the source material reveals that Windows maintains this deeply layered web of software-level identifiers, and they're embedded right into the registry. Honestly, unless you're actively digging through your system architecture, you'd never even know these persistent digital fingerprints were stamped onto your machine the literal second you installed the OS. Now, the good news is they can be changed, unlike your physical hardware chips, but they still form the absolute baseline of your digital footprint.
Okay, let's get into the really good stuff. Section 2, unpacking the master list.
We're going to look specifically at the 6 major registry keys that basically make up a whole dossier on your machine. First up, the machine guide. You'll find this in the local machine software hive under cryptography, and it's generated right at install time. Think of this as the primary ID used across the entire Windows ecosystem for telemetry, software licensing, and anti-fraud. If your machine is talking to Microsoft, and let's be real, it constantly is, it's almost certainly using this exact identifier.
Next is the SQM machine ID, or the Software Quality Metrics Client ID. Now, what's wild about this one is that it isn't just buried deep in the registry. It's actually hiding right in plain sight. If you open your Windows settings, click on System, then About, you'll see your device ID. Yep, that is the SQM machine ID. It's basically the primary engine driving the whole Windows telemetry pipeline. Third, we have the Hardware Profile Guide. Just like it sounds, this key tracks your specific hardware configuration. It essentially hashes together your components, and it'll only regenerate automatically if you do something pretty drastic, like, swap out a GPU or a motherboard. And why does this matter? Well, it's how the OS confidently knows it's dealing with your exact machine day in and day out, even if your IP address totally changes. Number 4 on our master list is the SUS Client ID, which is the Windows Update Client Identifier. This single little registry key ties your machine's entire update history to one unique ID. And here is a truly fascinating and maybe slightly terrifying detail from our sources. This ID can actually be correlated across operating system reinstalls, assuming the key is somehow preserved or backed up. Pretty crazy, right? Moving on, we've got the product ID. This is the OS license identifier that's tied directly to your activation. And I think this brilliantly illustrates how all these different layers of identity just snap together. Your OS installation links directly to your product key, which, by extension, links right back to any Microsoft account you used for digital activation. Finally, rounding out the master list is the computer name or host name. This one is super literal. Because OEM setup flows almost always default to using your actual first name, there are tons of users out there right now just broadcasting John Smith PC in plain text on every single public coffee shop network they connect to. It gets logged by DHCP servers, DNS resolvers, and network monitoring tools literally everywhere you go. So, when we zoom out and look at all 6 of these core keys together, one crucial vulnerability really stands out. They are all software-based, meaning every single one of these can theoretically be changed, rotated, or spoofed if you're a savvy user with administrator privileges. But as we're about to see, modifying the registry is just the tip of the iceberg. Because now we need to talk about Section 3, the unstoppable GDID tracker. Listen to this real-world case from July 2026. The FBI actually used an identifier called the Global Device ID, or GDID, to hunt down a suspect from the Scattered Spider hacking group. They tracked this guy across VPNs, proxy servers, and 3 totally different countries. Microsoft confirmed its existence in court documents, and, this is the kicker, they confirmed that it has absolutely no off switch. None. So how exactly does an unstoppable tracker operate under the hood?
Well, first, a service called WLID-SVC contacts Microsoft's login servers to provision a device PUID. Second, the Connected Devices Platform Service reads this ID and registers it straight into Microsoft's Device Directory Service graph. And finally, Delivery Optimization reports this ID alongside your ISP, your city, and your country back to Microsoft with every single update cycle. It completely survives VPNs and IP rotations because it's tied directly to your Microsoft account.
Let's move on to Section 4 and see how this builds even further into hardware and network leaks.
Okay, so there is a massive gap between software and hardware identifiers. The registry keys we just covered in the master list, things like machine guide, those can be changed or erased during a reinstall. But hardware identifiers, we're talking about things like your motherboard's SMBIOS UUID or the cryptographic key permanently burned into your TPM 2.0 chip. Those will easily survive a complete hard drive wipe. They are immutable, permanent firmware identifiers that absolutely ignore whatever software privacy settings you've toggled.
And honestly, it gets even worse when you look at network leakage. The literal moment you boot up, before your VPN tunnel even has a chance to fully establish, Windows is already giving you away. Milliseconds after a network connects, the OS sends HTTP and DNS probes to Microsoft just to check internet status. Then, Windows' built-in DNS resolver can just completely bypass your VPN's custom DNS. Shortly after that, it pings time.windows.com, and then ongoing, Delivery Optimization is constantly broadcasting your IP address for peer-to-peer updates. The wild part? All of this happens at the OS infrastructure level before you even open a web browser.
All right, now that we've exposed the true depth of this tracking, let's dive into our final section, mitigations and hard truths.
You definitely can fight back, but it takes layered defenses. First, in the registry, you can set Allow Telemetry to 0 and restrict text collection. Second, you can disable data collection services like DiagTrack and CDPS-VC by setting their registry start values to 4. Third, and I can't stress this enough, this is your most durable long-term solution, you should implement a network-level DNS sinkhole, think Pi-hole or AdGuard Home. That'll block Microsoft's telemetry endpoints entirely. And finally, you can use automated community tools like O&O Shutup 10++ or the open-source no GDID script to apply all these changes. Basically, it's a digital fortress, but you have to actively maintain it.
But I do have to deliver the unflinching hard truth here. The source material is very clear on this. Required telemetry just keeps on flowing on Windows Home and Pro editions, regardless of whatever settings you toggle. And remember that GDID tracker? Well, local mitigations only stop your machine from re-registering it. The GDID exists on Microsoft servers the absolute second you sign in. Local tweaks absolutely cannot delete the records Microsoft already holds and happily shares via subpoena.
So, knowing that there is this unstoppable tracking floor, and knowing that your registry keys, firmware, and network behaviors are being constantly cataloged, you're left with an ultimate choice. Are you willing to pay the price for absolute privacy by leaving the ecosystem entirely and switching to Linux? Or is the unmatched convenience and compatibility of Windows worth the baseline of constant surveillance? Honestly, it's a question only you can answer. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.